Guide, okay. Show them the right way, okay. Teach, okay. Responsibility, okay. Commitment, okay. Anyone else? Serving, good, okay. Um, and subhanallah, I mean, all these definition is good. Um, there's one thing that was missing there is well, there's two things that were missing in there, which is the human element and the goal aspect of it. So leadership, according to all the definitions that I looked into, basically can be summarized by this: that it's the accomplishment of a goal through human assistance. It's the accomplishment of a goal through human assistance. Another way we could say that is leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek a common goal. Okay, so the success of a leader is judged by it is a social one, is a human one. Though how well did the leader develop the people is how we judge his success. Okay, so for example, um, if this masjid is um, having programs after programs every single week, every single month, and every single year, right? Do we consider this a successful masjid? And the answer is not necessarily. It is active, right? It's very active. The masjid is having all these activities for all these different people. But if it's run by the same people over and over again, there's a problem, right? Once these people leave, there will not be any masjid, only activities in masjid anymore. So the way we judge whether a place is run by a successful leader or not is how many people it's producing to carry on the mission. Okay, and if we look at this as a definition of success, right, for a successful leader, then we can say that Muhammad SAW is the most successful leader that the world has ever seen. Okay, because when he left this world, the thousands and thousands of Sahabas, right, he left behind, and they were capable of carrying the goal of Islam. Okay, they were all capable of carrying the goal of Islam, and this is something not only the Muslims saw, but this is something that even the disbelievers saw. That Muhammad SAW is a great leader, and not only that, but he can actually overcome us one day. If when the Prophet ﷺ was actually preaching to Quraysh, like this is when like the most Muhammad ﷺ was and the companions were getting persecuted, beaten for their faith. Even at that moment, the Quraysh leaders knew that this religion, if we don't stop it now, it will defeat us. Right? And then the question is why? Right? The question is why, and the answer is simple. That Muhammad SAW is going to lead these people to a certain objective. And one time there was an incident where everybody, if you're not familiar with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, this is when 1,400 companions, along with the Prophet ﷺ, went from Medina to Mecca to perform Umrah. Of course, the Quraysh didn't like that, so they sent a negotiator. They stopped They stopped Muhammad ﷺ and the companions, and they told them, "No, you can't perform Umrah. You cannot perform Umrah here." And this is shocking to people. This is shocking to everybody because Quraysh usually don't stop anybody, and since they're the custodian of the Kaaba, they don't really stop anyone from performing Umrah. So what they did instead was they sent people to negotiate. Okay, you don't come now, you can come next year, right? So they sent a couple of negotiators. One of the negotiators they sent was Urwa bin Mas'ud, a leader from the Thaqif tribe. he came and he saw Muhammad SAW and the companions, and he saw that the companions were from many different tribes, right? And he thought, like, these people, as soon as a challenge comes to them, they're going to run away. They're going to run away. This was the initial impression. When he saw these companions from different tribes, he thought that Muhammad SAW is going to, he's not going to have any followers pretty soon. But he spent some time there, then he realized that this companion was very loyal to Muhammad SAW. Every time he needs wudu for water for wudu, they would rush to give him water. They would rush to obey his command. They're very loyal to him. And one time when Urwa was trying to grab hold of Muhammad SAW as he was talking, another companion, like, threw his hand and told Urwa that, take your hand back before it comes back to you empty. Before it comes back to you missing. And then Urwa was like, this person might be the worst person amongst your army. And the Prophet told him, no, this is actually your nephew. This is Mughira ibn Shu'bah. This is Mughira ibn Shu'bah. And this showed Urwa that the tribal relationship did not tie these people. What tied these people is actually the religion of Islam. Like, what tied these people is their allegiance to Allah and His Messenger, and not to any allegiance to his companions. So, to not any allegiance to any tribal group. So this is the definition of a leader. That a successful leader has the ability to persuade others to seek a common goal. And the Prophet ﷺ was successfully able to do that to the companions. And not only that, he not only was able to persuade them, motivate them, but he also gave them the self confidence to carry on after he passed away. Now, the next question we have to ask ourselves is, what is that common goal? What was that goal that the Prophet was telling the companions to achieve? What was that goal that the Muhammad and the companions were trying to go for? And what is the goal that we are trying to achieve ourselves? Inshallah. But as a group, what are we trying to achieve in this world? There you go. Right? To carry the message of Islam to mankind. Establish the deen of Allah on earth. Okay? Carry the message of Islam to the mankind, or establish the deen on this earth. So that is the common goal. And everybody, all the companions were, of course, agreed to it. And now, um, now this goal cannot be carried on by an individual, right? One single individual cannot carry this message to everybody. It has to be done collectively with other people. It's a collective purpose. To carry on this message is a collective effort. Now, obviously, when you have a collective effort, what do you need? Right? Of course, you need a leader. So, the definition of leadership, as you said, has a common goal. It needs a leader, right? So, we talked about what the goal is. Okay, the goal of Islam is to carry the message of Islam to the mankind. That's the overall goal. What is the goal for us here? Right? Someone who's living in Patterson, New Jersey, what is your goal? Carry on the message of Islam to those who are around you here, right? And specifically for the youth here, carry on the message of Islam to all of the youth that are living in this area. Okay, that's something that you can do, that you have control over. I mean, we definitely don't have the capacity or the manpower, the resources to do carry the message of Islam all throughout the world, but we can do it locally, right? So every single activity that's happening in the masjid, right? The goal of the leader, the goal of everybody that's going to attend, is to actually let other people know that there's something going on in the masjid. Come to the masjid to learn about this deen and benefit others. So that is the common goal. Okay. Now, the next aspect of the definition is the leader himself. Now that we have a common goal, right, and the leader is supposed to guide or persuade and develop the people to that common goal, um, what are the qualities of this leader, right? And what should be the quality of this leader? Um, as we said, that the leader, the mark of a leader is a human and a social one. The successful leader is someone that can be judged based on his success with the people. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The qualities that a leader should have. What do you guys think? Let's talk about the moral qualities, the moral, faith-based qualities that that a leader should have. Yeah, exactly. Like he should be driven toward that goal, right? And this is something that the Prophet was right, and we've seen that when um, this Qurayshi leader named Utbah ibn Rabi'ah came to the Prophet, and he told him, like, we'll give you all the wealth that we have. We'll give you all the women to marry if you want. We'll give you, if you are sick, we'll give you the best physician to cure your sickness. Just stop preaching this message, right? Just stop preaching what you're doing. And the Prophet said that, you know, if you were to give me the sun on my right hand and the moon on my left hand, I would still not carry on. I would still not stop carrying on this message. Or actually, sorry, this is what he said to Abu Talib, but he recited a surah from Hamim Sajda, Surah Fussilat, basically telling him that he is not going to stop preaching this message, no matter the um, what the Quraysh gave him. Now, he cannot. There's no way for the Prophet to not do that if he was not driven himself, if he was not convinced that himself that he should be doing this, calling others to Islam, calling others to the worship of Allah alone, then he would have caved by all of these desires that came in. Since I don't have that much time, I'm just going to go over the things that the author of the book that I'm basing my lecture on. They said they said that a leader should have, in terms of faith-based qualities, a leader should have iman, of course, faith, and following that, of course, the iman is belief in the unseen, belief in Allah, His angels, messengers, books, the last day, and the qadr of Allah. Now, iman is very important because the strength of your iman will in turn um, affect the rest of the things. How strong your belief is will affect the rest of the qualities that I'll mention. And the next quality is Islam, how well you practice Islam. Of course, you have the five basic pillars, you have the obligations and the prohibitions, how well you practice them. Then the author mentions that a person should have taqwa, right? Taqwa is is a quality that pushes you away from prohibitions of Allah and pulls you toward His commandments. It's a quality that you display when you are tempted to do something wrong, or something wrong is presented to you. So you display taqwa, fear of Allah, right? And you stay away from it. And then the fourth quality that the author mentions is ihsan, that whatever you do it to a level of excellence. And you do it in such a way that it is as if Allah is your audience. It is as if Allah is your audience. All of these four qualities you can perfect these qualities if you have strong faith, iman, right? A strong belief in the unseen. The way you actually strengthen this belief in iman, or the way you strengthen iman, is actually through. Actually, let me ask you guys this: how would you guys think you can increase your faith, increase your iman, increase the strength of your belief in Allah, increase your strength of your belief in the unseen? Yeah, good. Alhamdulillah. Certainty is driven by knowledge, and doubt is driven by ignorance. So, the more ignorant you are, more doubtful you will be, and more knowledge you have, more certain you will be. So, iman, right? Iman, the strength of your iman will be based on your knowledge and application of that knowledge, right? Application of that knowledge. And now, knowledge of what? Knowledge of Allah, knowledge of the Messenger and the way he lived, knowledge of the Quran, knowledge of the Sunnah, so on and so forth. Okay? And of course, then we said Islam, your practice of Islam. So this means that you should be aware of how to practice it. You should know the fiqh of prayer, the fiqh of fasting, the halal and the haram. So you should know all of that. And then of course we said taqwa. And now for a leader especially, taqwa is important because he has the ability to do a lot of wrong. I mean, he has potential to do a lot of wrong because he has power, because he has authority, and because the people under him must obey him. He has a potential to do a lot of wrong, right? And he will be tempted with, he will be tempted with desire. He will be tempted with money. He will be tempted with fame, and there will be a lot of temptation. So, if you do not have a leader that has a strong taqwa or fear of Allah that will drive him away from the wrong, then that person can do a lot of harm to himself and to other people. So, and and then of course the fourth quality that we said is ihsan, that whatever you do, whatever the leader does, he doesn't put mediocre effort. Unfortunately, mediocrity is a culture in Islamic production. Everything that we do is like we just do it to the least, right? Like if you look at like Islamic productions, like media productions, it doesn't equal to anything to what other people produce, the non-Muslims produce, right? If you look at the translation of Islamic books in English, the English is so dry that nobody wants to read it. It puts you to sleep, right? It is as if our mindset is like, whatever we get done, well, I mean, as long as we get done, that's it. No, the Prophet taught us that whatever we do, we should have it with the intention of excellence, and we should do it as if Allah is the audience, as if Allah is our only audience, that He is watching. Even though we cannot see Him, He sees us. Okay, so those are the four moral-based qualities that I want to mention. Now the next thing that we have to understand is that the leader is measured by how he leads the people, how he interacts with them. So when it comes to interacting with people, the first quality that he should have is sincerity. The first quality that he should have is ikhlas, that what is he doing it for? Okay? Once he does everything only to seek Allah's pleasure, right? Then, even if he does something small, it will have a big effect on. So, we have the example of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. After he accepted Islam, and when he accepted Islam, there were only like 5-10 verses revealed, right? He didn't know much, like as in nothing much of Islam was revealed. But through the knowledge that he had, and the amount of sincerity and the conviction that he had in Islam, he was able to convert 5 of the most elite of the Sahabas, and that's including Uthman, right? Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Zubayr and Talha, and all of these 6 individuals were so good, were so great among the Sahaba. They were giving the glad tidings of Jannah while they were on earth, right? And so, what we understand from this is that your sincerity is what will determine how well you can persuade others to the faith, and especially for a leader, because he is in a public position, the way he develops that sincerity, the way he could develop that sincerity is increasing his actions in private. I can tell you, like, how can somebody increase sincerity, or how can somebody do things only for the pleasure of Allah? And the simple answer is, how does he behave when no one is watching? How does that person behave when no one is watching? So when you are in private, and most of your time is spent towards Allah's pleasure and Allah's obedience, then that's when you know that you have total sincerity. That whether it's a public or private, you're the same person. You are the same person. And that's why when the Prophet ﷺ was started his mission, he was told to what? Stand up in prayer at night, right? Those are like the private moments, because this is what will increase in sincerity. And in fact, there was a story of is it Amir ibn Sa'd, or Sa'd ibn Amr? I think it's Amir ibn Sa'd. He was um, he was um, he was chosen by Umar ibn Khattab to be the leader of Hims, Syria. And as Hims, Syria is like Kufa, Iraq. People there were very, they're hard to please, and they will always complain about their leaders. So home Syria, the people there are very, they complain a lot, right? So the Umar decided that he's going to send a very righteous person that he knows to be very good as the governor to Hims. So he sent Sa'd ibn Amr there, and he was the Governor. One time, a delegation, a group of people came from Him, Syria to Medina, and Omar asked them, "Okay, um, so tell me what's going on in Hims." And oh no, he said, "Give me the list of the people that are poor, and then so that I can give him money from the Baitul Mal." And the first name that they gave was um, the governor's name, and Omar was shocked, right? Omar was shocked. He was like, first of all, he wants to make sure that this is Amr ibn Saad. This is who is this? This is the governor. Your governor is in need of money. Yeah, he's amongst one of the poor amongst us. And so what Omar did was he gathered some wealth from the Baitul Mal, 1,000 dinar, and he told the man to give it to him. And as soon as he saw the wealth, he said that as soon as he saw the wealth, he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un," as if something bad happened, right? As if something bad happened. And his wife was saying, "Wait, what happened? Did the Amir al-Mu'mineen pass away?" He's like, "No, something worse." Well, what happened? He said, "The dunya entered my heart to ruin my hereafter." Right? The dunya entered my heart. He's talking about the 1,000 dinar entered my world to ruin my hereafter. And so he said that, "Help me distribute this among the people." And now, as time went on, Omar visited Hims, and then the people started complaining. They had three complaints about Amr ibn Saad, and so Omar told Amr to come, and he told the people to come in the public gathering. So they came, and he told the people, "Okay, give me complaint number one." Um, one of the complaints is that he does not respond to us at night. Right? He's fulfilling his duty in the morning, but at night he's nowhere to be seen. And Amr ibn Sa'd, Omar told him respond, and he said that my day is for the people, and my night is for my Lord. Right? My day is for the people, and my night is for the Lord. And now, why did he do that? The reason is because when he focuses his relationship with Allah at night in private, it is easier for him to be sincere with the people in public, because he can firmly say that I'm not doing this for the people. I'm doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you are a leader, and a lot of us is of course in a position of a leadership, that's something that we should keep in mind. Increase your sincerity by increasing your action in private. And this could be your zikr, askar, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar when you're alone, driving the car, praying tahajjud, fasting Monday and Thursday, because when you're fasting, nobody knows. That's a private act, right? Increase your actions in private so that it increases your sincerity. And there was advice by a scholar that he gave that once you become famous, increase your worship in private, because otherwise fame will get to your head. And number two quality that leaders should have is he, inspiration. That no matter what the situation is, that he should remain positive. He should remain positive, and this is something that the companions saw in the Prophet himself. In the Battle of Hunain, when the Muslims were ambushed, it was a lot of the Muslims were actually fleeing. Only person and the person that wasn't fleeing and who was actually in the front of everybody was Muhammad Sallallahu himself. And when the companions saw their leader fighting, standing his ground, they all became inspired to attack back and protect the Muslims, right? So that's the thing. That's the second quality that we want to mention, that no matter how bad the situation gets, be positive. Be positive and carry on this mission. And you're not doing it for the people, you are doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so um, a lot of times when we do this youth work, we have this issue of not people not coming, um, people are not motivated to come and whatnot. This is the problems that prophets faced. Nuh alayhi salam didn't have that many followers. A lot of other prophets didn't have that many followers. It's okay. This is expected. Okay, carry on. Keep on carrying and be positive that Allah will reward you in the end. Okay, and the third thing we want to mention is that be gentle with the people. Now, on the prophets, the Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says in Surah Al Imran that if you were harsh-hearted with them, the companions would have ran away from you. And this verse was revealed after Battle of Uhud, right? Some of the companions who were given clear instructions to not leave their post, no matter what happens, they unfortunately, the love of this world got into their heart, and they forgot the command of the Prophet ﷺ, and they left their post. What happened? Khalid bin Walid saw a chance, and he attacked the Muslims from the back, and the Muslims unfortunately did not win that battle. They didn't lose. We're not going to say that they lost, because um, the Medina wasn't conquered. They left, right? So we can't say that the Muslims lost, right? But in any case, um, this verse this command that you should be gentle with people came after the Battle of Uhud, when these people disobeyed. And what did Allah say? Allah said, "It is out of Allah's mercy that you, O Prophet, have been lenient with them. Had you been cruel or hard-hearted, they would have certainly abandoned you. So pardon them, forgive them." Talking about the archers of Uhud, and ask Allah's forgiveness for them, and consult with them in conducting matters. Once you make a decision, put your trust in Allah. Surely Allah loves those who trust in Him. And out of all the hadith that we have, not a single hadith we have that criticizes these people. Not a single statement of the companions criticize these people. Because Allah says, pardon them and ask Allah's forgiveness for them. Otherwise, if you were harsh-hearted, then they would have ran away from you. And these were the Sahabas, by the way. These were the Sahabas. They already had so much love for the Prophet that Bi abi wa bi ummi anta, right? May my mother and my father be sacrificed for you, right? Um, they would give. There would be. There would. One of the companions said that I would rather be pricked with. I would rather. Um, I would rather die than see the Prophet be pricked by a thorn. Right? I would rather die than see the Prophet be pricked by a thorn. So this is how much they loved him. But even then, and even at that moment, if they were harsh with the Prophet, then if the Prophet was harsh with them, then they would have left him. So those are the three things that I want to mention. that the leader should be first sincere, second inspiring, and the third be gentle with the people. And then the last thing that I want to mention is the quality of the followers. That the leader cannot be effective if the followers have certain qualities, and the leader will be effective if the follower has these qualities. First one is obedience, right? That Allah says in the Quran, "O believers, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and those among you who are invested with authority." And then, if you are to dispute among yourselves about anything, refer it back to Allah and His Messenger. If you indeed believe in Allah and the Last Day, that is better and more commendable in the end. So that's the thing. Obedience, the leader must be obeyed. The legitimate leader must be obeyed. And this is what separated the time of Abu Bakr and Umar with the time of Osman and Ali radiallahu anhu. One time a person came to Ali radiallahu anhu when he was the leader of the Muslims. He's saying that in the time of Abu Bakr and Omar, we faced such a good time, and now we have faced chaos and turmoil in your time. What happened? Now Ali said that during that time they had followers like me, and during my time I have followers like you. I was loyal to them. I was loyal to them, right? I was loyal to every command that they did. I obeyed, and during my time, I have you who are obeying sometimes and disobeying other times, right? And so a leader must be obeyed. And um, this is where a lot of us have a lot of us have to put down our own opinion, our own. This is where we have to show our humility. Okay, this is where we have to let aside our ego, our own thinking, our own opinion of ourselves, our high opinion of ourselves, and develop a humility to accept the decision of the leader. Otherwise, it will be hard for us to obey the leader. Okay. Um, and number two is that when a decision is made, we must follow through. What happens is that if you disagree, if you are part of a group, and if you disagree with the decision of the group, okay, humble yourself and treat that decision as if it's your decision. Okay, because unity is more important than anything else. Okay, so if the group decided on something but you disagreed with it, okay, don't go around and outside the group and saying that, hey, they did this, they're talking about this, I don't think that's right, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're talking about. Don't do that. Instead, treat that decision as if it's your own decision. And when before the Battle of Uhud, the discussion among the Sahabas was whether they will fight inside the Medina or outside Medina. Okay, and the young Sahabas who did not get a chance to fight at Badr, they said that we want to fight outside of Medina. We want to show them our power. We want to show them our strength, right? And the senior amongst the Sahabas, they were kept quiet. They didn't really say anything. So the Prophet decided that he'll fight outside. And so when the Prophet went back to his home to put on his armor, the companions felt ashamed that maybe you were forcing our decision on the Prophet, right? So when the Prophet came out with his armor, they said that, "Oh Prophet, we said too much. The decision up to you." And the Prophet said that when the Prophet has put on his armor, it is not befitting for him until he fights the enemy and comes back, right? And so once a decision has been made, it was as if it was his own decision. It was as if it's as if it's his own decision. And so this is something that we should keep in mind. And the main reason why we're doing this is so that unity of the Muslims, unity among the group is intact. The last thing that you want to do is break apart the group. And then because once you break it up, nothing happens. Actually, worse things happen. So that's the thing for the followers, for the followers to keep in mind. So let me just summarize, inshallah. The definition of a leader is the ability to persuade others toward a certain goal, the ability to persuade others toward a certain goal. And we said that that common goal is to spread the word of Islam to all of mankind and to establish this deen on earth. And to do that, of course, it's a collective effort. It is a collective effort. And when you have a collective effort, you need a sound leader that can lead you toward that goal. The qualities of that leader should be that he should have iman, Islam, taqwa, ihsan. He should display, he should be inspiring to the people. He should display sincerity, and he should be gentle with the people. In terms of the followers, they should obey their leader, and they should accept the decision of the group as if it's their own decision. Okay, and so this is the summary of my talk. Whatever good I say is blessings from Allah, and whatever bad I say is from me and from the evil whisperings of shaitan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, Brother Faisal Azad, for that wonderful lecture. Um, we can start to have an, if you guys have any questions, we can start like a question answer session right now. I guess any questions specifically on the topic that we had?
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, okay, the whole story is this: that okay, the first complaint was that he doesn't respond at night, and so he responded that my night is for my Lord, and the day is for the people, and okay, and the people accepted his response. The second complaint, and then the Umar said to the people, okay, what's your second complaint? Okay, he's like, there's one day in a month where he doesn't um, he doesn't come to us. Like there's one